Possibly the afternoon. Maybe I could schedule it in the middle of the day. Possibly on my lunch break or somewhere in between. I could just find some extra time. Well, that extra time just doesn't show up and the day usually gets away from us. Oh, come on, not in the morning. Then I considered doing it in the morning, but I resisted. To say that I was not a morning person was a gross understatement. The fact was, I dreaded getting up in the morning, particularly waking up early, almost as much as I hated running. But the more I thought about it, the more a few things started to make sense. First, by committing to my personal development in the morning, it would give me a positive motivational kickstart to my day. I could learn something new in the morning. I'd likely be more energized, more focused, and more motivated for the rest of my day. I remember the blog post that I read on Steve titled The Ruler of the Day. Steve, also the author of Personal Development for Smart People, stated, "It's been said that the first hour is the ruler of the day. If I'm lazy or haphazard in my actions during the first hour after I wake up, I tend to have a very lazy and unfocused day. But if I strive to make that first hour optimally productive, the rest of the day tends to follow suit." Not to mention, by doing personal development in the morning, I wouldn't have all of the excuses that accumulate during the day. I'm tired, I don't have time, etc. If I did it in the morning, before the rest of my life and my work got in the way, I could guarantee that it happened every single day. Finally, I just didn't really see any better time to do it. Executing my personal development first thing in the morning was looking to be the best advantageous option, but it was already hard enough to drag myself out of bed every day at 6 a.m. So the idea of getting up at 5 a.m. seemed almost impossible to me. Feeling frustrated and a bit defeated, I was about to close my planner and forget the whole idea when I heard the voice of my mentor Kevin Bracey in my head. Kevin always said, "If you want your life to be different, you have to be willing to do something different first." Damn it, I knew Kevin was right, but that didn't make waking up early any easier. Committed to making a change, I decided to overcome my self-imposed, lifelong limiting belief that I was not a morning person and wrote into my schedule that I would wake up at 5 a.m. the next morning to do my first personal development routine. Our second challenge, doing what's most impactful. Then I encouraged another challenge. What was I going to do for that hour that was going to make the biggest impact and improve my life the fastest? I could read, but I'd done that before, and I wanted this to be special. I could exercise, but again, that wasn't getting my juices flowing. So I pulled out a piece of blanket paper and I wrote down all the most life-changing personal development practices that I had learned over the years but never implemented, at least never consistently. Activities like meditation, affirmations, journaling, visually, visualization, as well as reading and exercise. I chose the 6 activities that I thought would have the most immediate and dramatic impact on my life, assigned 10 minutes each, and planned to try all 6 the next morning. The interesting thing was, looking at this list got me feeling motivated. All of a sudden, the idea of waking up early went from something I dreaded to something more and more appealing. That night, I could hardly fall asleep. I was so excited for the morning to come. When the alarm clock went off at 5 a.m., my eyes shut wide open and I sprang out of bed, feeling energized and excited. It was effortless, it was invigorating, and it reminded me of being a kid. Waking up on Christmas morning. There had been no time in my life when waking up was easier, when I felt more energized and excited about my day than I did as a kid on Christmas until today. The morning that transformed my entire life. Teeth brushed, face washed, and a glass of water in hand. I sat up straight on my living room couch at 5 a.m., feeling genuinely excited about my life for the first time in a long time. It was still dark outside, and something about that felt very empowering. I pulled out my list of life-changing personal development activities I had learned over the years but never implemented. One by one, I implemented each one. Silence, sitting in silence, praying, meditating, and focusing on my breath for 10 minutes. I felt my stress melt away. Felt a sense of calm come over my body and ease my mind. This was different from the typical chaos of my hectic mornings. For the first time in a long time, I felt peaceful. Reading. Having always made excuses why I couldn't find time to read, I was excited to make time this morning and start what I had always hoped could become a lifelong habit. I grabbed Napoleon Hill's classic Think and Grow Rich off the shelf. Like most of my books, it was one that I had started but never finished. I read for 10 minutes and picked up a few ideas that I was excited to implement that day. I was reminded that it only takes one idea to change your life, and I felt motivated. Affirmations. Having never before harnessed the power of affirmations, it felt amazing to finally read the self-confidence affirmation from Think and Grow Rich aloud. The affirmation was a powerful reminder of the unlimited potential that was within me and within each of us. I decided to write my own affirmation. I jotted down what I wanted, who I was committed to being, and what I was committed to doing to change my life, I felt empowered. Visualization. I grabbed the vision board off my wall. I had created it after watching the movie, The Secret. I rarely took time to look at, let alone use it as the visualization tool it was intended to be. For 10 minutes, my focus shifted from image to image, pausing at each one to close my eyes and feel with every fiber of my being what it would be like to manifest each into my life. I felt inspired. Journaling. Next, I opened one of the many blank journals I had purchased over the years. Like all of the others, I had failed to write in for more than a few days, a week at the most. On this day, I wrote what I was grateful for my life. Almost immediately, I felt my depressing lifting like a heavy fog, which had been weighing me down. It wasn't gone, but it felt lighter. The simple act of writing down the things I was grateful for lifted my spirits. I felt grateful. Exercise. Finally, I got up off the couch, remembering what I'd heard Tony Robbins say so many times. Motion creates emotion. I dropped down and did push-ups until I couldn't do one more. Then I flipped over onto my back and did as many sit-ups as my out-of-shape abdominals would allow. Um, with 6 minutes left on the clock, I inserted one of my fiance's yoga videos into the DVD player and enjoyed completing the first 6 minutes of it. I felt energized. It was incredible. I had already experienced what was one of the most peaceful, motivating, empowering, inspiring, grateful, and energizing days of my life, and it was only 6 a.m. Nothing short of a miracle. For the next few weeks, I continued to wake up at 5 a.m. and follow through with my 60-minute personal development routine. Then, so incredibly happy with the way I was feeling and the progress I was making as a result of my morning routine, I wanted more of it. So, one night, while getting ready for bed, I did what was unthinkable at the time. I set my alarm clock for 4 a.m. Falling asleep that night, I wondered if I was out of my mind. Surprisingly, it was just as easy to wake up at 4 a.m. as it was 5 a.m., and waking up at either time was 10 times easier than waking up on any day in my past. When I resisted waking up, my stress levels dropped dramatically. I had more energy, clarity, and focus. I felt genuinely happy, motivated, and inspired. Thoughts of depression was a distant memory. You could say I was back to my old self again. Although I was experiencing so much growth so rapidly that I was quickly surpassing any version of myself that I had ever been in the past. And with my newfound levels of energy, motivation, clarity, and focus, I was able to easily set goals, create strategies, and execute a plan to save my business and increase my income. Less than 2 months after my first miracle morning, my income was not only back to the level it had been at before the economic crisis crushed, it was higher than ever before.